Right, Firefly finally came. He didn't come with the last ones, as I said in the last video, the Desert Commando, Snake Eyes, Low Light, and Tunnel Rat. He's in the sort of, 4-figure or so wave, but Amazon said it shipped, and it said it was delivered, and it was never delivered, so I had to get a refund. And then he went into stock at Walmart, so I ordered him from Walmart, and Walmart got him to me in a day or two or so. So Firefly is here, and Firefly definitely is one that I've wanted for a long time, because I wasn't a super big fan of his first figure. That's why I never got his Cobra Island figure, and I never saw it. I know it was an exclusive somewhere, but I never saw it. I never sought it out like I did Beachhead, because Beachhead was the same thing. Beachhead was the Cobra Island version, and I definitely sought him out and paid a premium for him because I love Beachhead from the GI Joe movie. But Firefly's first figure, I wasn't a huge fan of the puffy vest he has. It definitely threw the figure off a little bit, and I understand what they were going with it, but if you know Firefly the character from the comic books, you know that the first figure actually doesn't fit him that well, because you might not obviously know this. Like in the cartoon, Firefly was he wasn't like a major character in the cartoon. He was only in maybe 6-10 episodes, something like that. He was not in the cartoon very much, and when he was just a mercenary for Cobra. He didn't do anything super special, and it definitely didn't go into his backstory or anything. But his backstory, especially from the comic book, and if you've watched my channel before, I really, really, really love the old Marvel GI Joe comic book, and a lot of my nostalgia for the GI Joes are from their fleshed out, personalities and backgrounds from the comic book. Well, in the comic book, his background is amazing. He's a ninja master up to, the skills of Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. But you wouldn't tell that from the cartoon, obviously. And even his origin story is intertwined with Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow a little bit. It's very complicated. I can't go over it all here. But essentially his father was part of a ninja clan, and he went into debt with them or something like that. So they actually killed him, and they took Firefly in and trained him. And then at some point, Cobra Commander, bribed him to actually kill Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow's master. So he infiltrated their dojo, and he actually got Zartan to kill their master because he couldn't do it. He actually, couldn't defeat Snake Eyes, and Snake Eyes for the longest time thought it was Storm Shadow that killed their master, but it wasn't. It was Zartan in disguise, and that's how Storm Shadow was actually branded as a traitor. That's why he's crossed over sides once in a while, Cobra to GI Joe. So he's actually a ninja in addition to his demolition and saboteur specifications. We'll check out his icons on the back if it actually puts it on here. But in the comic book, I know characters like him are super popular, like the Boba Fett type characters that never reveal their identity. Well, he's only taken off his mask literally one time in the comic book. No one knows his true name. He's taken it one time in the comic book, and I'll put a picture here. It's kind of weird. But even at one point in the comic book too, he got locked in a freighter, and the freighter was buried at the base of a volcano. Cobra Commander locked him in there with a bunch of people he considered, traitors or so. But Firefly did reappear later in the comic book, even way later in his second costume, the green one. But he actually survived the freighter, and there's a whole story about how he got out of the freighter and everything. What I'm saying is, long story short, he's got a super, super, super interesting background from the comic book, but from the cartoon, he's just a surface level Cobra, mercenary flunky guy. And so my nostalgia, I remember him from the comic book. That's how I love him. And this figure definitely fits the aesthetic in my mind more than the first figure did. So I'm glad to finally have him. So getting to this figure right here, he had a bunch of different figures over the years, 28 to be exact. Yes, he's had 28 versions. But from the original GI Joe line, his only actual gray uniform was his first figure from Series 3 in 1984. I never had that figure growing up. I had his version 2 figure, which was a green figure, but I honestly don't even remember where I got it. Maybe I traded with my cousin or something like that, because I never had the accessories that came with him. If you look at his second figure, he comes with like a top, a spinning top with a zip cord in it, and I never had that. I don't remember having that. So I must have just got the figure, a loose figure somehow. But obviously the gray uniform is his iconic look from the show, the comic book, everything. So we got the front of the box right here. Obviously Firefly, he is a Cobra. He is a mercenary though. He just works for money. Got the full body shot right there. All the accessories, which are pretty ballin'. The art right there, which I love. He's number 84 in the series, QR code, icons down there that I can't read. More of that character art right here, and like I said, 84 in the series. Big 84. On the back, we got all the renders like always. We got the accessories right here. Got some more, shots right there, Cobra, symbol on the sleeve right there. And then we have his iconography, icons, covert ops, classified, explosives, and sabotage. So, like I said, there's no mention of him being a ninja master, but he is a ninja master. When he took his mask off in the comic book, he actually called himself the Faceless Master. All right, let's get the mysterious saboteur out of the package. All right, Firefly out. I've messed with him. I've done the good old check, the reuse check on him. And this is gonna sound crazy, I know. I don't have every figure though. Remind everybody I don't have every figure in the line. But I can't find any reuse on him at all. I'm not saying there's not reuse on him. I can't find it. Just like Tunnel Rat. To me, this looks like a unique sculpt everywhere because I can't find any with the same lines on their uniform. The head is not the same as Beachhead's because Beachhead clearly has that, that striped texture, like that sort of old sweater texture. I don't know what you want to call that, other than old grandma sweater texture. But there might be some reuse on here from the first Firefly figure too, which I don't have. But I'm telling you, from opening this guy up and checking him out and matching it up with my, nostalgia and Firefly in my head from, like I said, mainly those old comic books rather than the cartoon. This is like a 10 out of 10. Like, this is so good. Everything fits perfectly. And I really love this belt around the waist, how it's actually attached to this hip one right here. Like, I love how they did that. I even love the X right here. The X, the sculpt work on it is super good. It's got some color accents. It's not a lot of colors going on here, but it's got some. But this piece is really, really cool because it's all connected. It's all one piece. And I don't know, I just love the aesthetic of them. So going back to the original figure had that, ballistic vest on the middle because he's a demolition expert, right? An explosive expert. So obviously that vest is there to protect him. So like I said, logically, it makes sense. This is how I picture Firefly though. From the show and the comic book, because he's a ninja. He's a ninja before he's an explosive expert, right? So obviously with that big vest on, you can't do ninja moves and stuff like that. And obviously, they probably, don't follow the comic book exactly for these figures, which I understand. They're more, show-based, most likely from the TV show, their inspirations and everything. But the comic book was a big part of GI Joe back in the day. A lot of my nostalgia for the GI Joes comes from their appearances in the comic book as well as the figures. And overall, they did an amazing job with this. All right, so let's start with the head. The head's, it's a really, really good likeness, especially on the, the part that's cut out on the face, the eyes and everything. He's got that sort of, a little bit of an angrier sort of smirk there. There is a little messiness with the paint on his eyebrow, but it's not a deal breaker by any means. But it does have some sculpt work there, some lines going down, so it actually looks like a real 3D mask. And I really like the neck, how it's got camouflage up to this sort of turtleneck part of a lined dark gray, vest, shirt, whatever underneath. I think that's a really good touch with the neck because they could have done it just all one or the other. But they chose to go, a little bit extra and do it half and half. And then, like I said before, going down to the chest, he's got this cross right here, which obviously goes around to the back, keeps the, backpack hole open. It's got grenades up here. It's got some paint accents on it. The sculpt work is really good, just like almost all the GI Joe stuff. He's got all that camouflage on his chest, going down to his waist, down to his arms. His arms are textured too, which is really nice. Goes down to his hands right there, and he's got a knife holster right there, it looks like, on his hand. The other one is just a guard right there. Got a painted on Cobra symbol right there, like it shows on the outside of the package. Down to the waist, again, he's got the double belts going on, you know. So he's got this, you know, belt hooked to this gun holster right here. Then here's another holster. I think this is probably explosives of some sort, like C4 or something like that. And the legs and below are definitely a really good sculpt. It's got the folds, but it has a texture to it too. All the way down to the boot. And now articulation, we don't really talk about on these videos because I've done enough of these unboxings, reviews, hangouts, whatever you want to call them, that anyone that watches these should know the basic GI Joe articulation. So obviously he does have a butterfly joint. There's no pins on him at all, right? So he's a, you know, pinless design, and he's got the double elbows, double knees. It's got the same ball joint on the foot. As always, it does have a swivel, a shin swivel right there. So forward, backward quite a lot. And then it does swivel in there too. All right, thigh articulation right there. He does have, you know, the articulation at the waist. It's got an ab crunch, which is, you know, indicative of the GI Joe Classified series. So it's the basic GI Joe articulation. It's got all that good stuff on it. But the look of it, man, this look is so good. I especially really like the head. The head compared to some of the maybe like comic book shots that I'm gonna put in this video. Oh man, it looks right on. So literally I have no complaints or any concerns about the body. The paint job is good, sculpt work is good, articulation is normal GI Joe articulation. Let's check out his accessories, which, you know, he's got quite the plethora of unique accessories this time around. All right, I tend to look at backpacks first, so let's look at his backpack first. So his backpack has got a lot of great details on it. It's got different paint accents. Like it definitely looks really good the way they did it. Dark black down here with a couple paint accents there, and even the grenades up here are a different color too. So man, they're stepping up their game with the accessories for sure in the GI Joe series. And this is pretty similar to the backpack the original figure came with. It's the same suit shape, sort of. Not exactly the same, but it is pretty close. And I can definitely tell by these pegs and stuff on it that he could probably hold various amounts of his accessories. So we'll see if all his accessories fit on his body or not. I don't know. That's a hallmark of the GI Joe series. But the backpack looks really good, especially, I don't know, I'm really a fan of the paint accents on here. I think it makes it look really good, especially with that red right there. It really pops. All right, these are two things that actually do hook to the backpack, and they look like landmines or, you know, explosives of some sort that something places out, which we'll look in a second. But, you know, one side is just flat and it's got a hole on it, and this hole will hook into the backpack, the sides of the backpack, so he can carry these. It's got the, you know, the red dot paint accents on top, on the triggering mechanism, you know what I mean? But these look to be landmines to me, which can be put out by using this. And this is probably the piece of the set. This is something that we haven't seen yet. You know, obviously this is all new for the whole series. This is super cool. It's a little like remote control, you know, car, but obviously it's not. Its purpose is to probably, you know, go under things, maybe drop one of those mines and zip out of there, you know what I mean? Or, you know, it's probably got cameras on it, so he can use it to go spy on things, to, you know, to sabotage them. Maybe you can do like, you know, EMP pulses or something crazy like that underneath. You know, your imagination has no limits. So that's what this is. So it's a RC car essentially, but to me, you know, it's a mine dropper, or, you know, a mobile camera that you can use to see under things and around things. And yes, the wheels do move. First thing for the series, it does have a open hole right there, and that's because it does clip to the backpack, which we can show in a second. All right, so it can clip onto the backpack like this, so he can carry it around with him, just like that. And the mines did clip on the side of the backpack, just like that. So they're explosives, whatever you want to call these. So right there and right there on both sides. And, you know, it does take a little force to get up in there. Oh, all right, it's in there. Those tires pop off pretty easy though, but they just pop back in. So be careful putting it on with the tires popping off. But there you go. So now you can hold most of his accessories. His gun probably goes there. And, you know, he's got goggles that we'll see in a second. But man, this looks, I don't know, this looks good. This might be in my top 5 figures in the series so far. I don't know. All right, here's what could be 2 things. It could be a remote detonator for bombs and explosives, or it also could be, you know, the control for the car. So you can take that what you will, and maybe it does both. but I mean, that's exactly what it is. So there's no details on the back. The sculpt work is good. It looks exactly what you think it would be. It does have this, 3 decal on here, which looks really, really, really good. It's nice and sharp, nice and tight. So when Firefly has this in his hands, you better watch out because he's up to no good. All right, next up, he's got a knife, a pistol, and a silencer or a muzzle for the pistol. This actually does fit on the rifle, which we'll see in a minute. But I kept it here because it fits tighter on the gun. So there it is on the gun. There's no paint deals on any of these 3. So they are kind of plain, you know what I mean? But the rest of his accessories definitely make up in the coolness factor. But these are pretty plain. It's a handgun, a muzzle, and a knife. Sculpt work is good. They're probably reused from somewhere. So, everybody's got to have these. All right, last up is this automatic rifle right here. Again, no paint accents. Sculpt work is really good. And this is definitely pretty similar to his original figures, rifle that he had, automatic rifle. It even comes with the ammo clip right here that you just put in, just like that. So we got the ammo clip in, and it looks almost just like his original figure's machine gun. So this is definitely a callback to that for sure. All right, last accessory for the set is a pair of goggles right here. It looks like night vision, plus maybe like infrared or something like that. And it's definitely a more minimalistic design than Tunnel Rat's. I really like Tunnel Rat's, but it is super big on his head because it's got 4 lenses and everything. So this one's just 2. So, obviously when you're sneaking around, you're a saboteur, you're setting mines and explosives and stuff. Obviously, you might need to work at night. And so that gets him through. It looks great. It's a little weird because it's asymmetrical, I guess, but I mean, it does look really good. It's very utilitarian. So I definitely dig how it looks. I like that there's a design in that lens. It's not just straight green. That's a really good detail right there. Right, and that's Firefly in a nutshell. And literally, my only complaint about this figure is just the backpack is kind of loose. That's my complaint about every GI Joe figure. It's not just specifically to Firefly. So the knife obviously goes in that holster there. Like I said, there's a holster right there for the handgun. The machine gun goes on the backpack. I put his little visor hanging off there like that for now. Got the remote control car on there too. Like he's got everything in there. He's got the, detonator, sort of remote charge detonator, remote controller there in his hands too. Like all geared up and everything. Firefly is a 10 out of 10. This is ballin'. This is a huge improvement over the first Firefly figure. Huge improvement. I love this figure. Love it, love it, love it. Let me take some pictures and I'll give some final thoughts. All right, that's the new Firefly. GI Joe Classified is number 84 in the series. It's definitely one of the best figures that's coming out. The design is spot on this time. Exactly how I remember Firefly. He's sleek. He's an explosive expert, yes, but he's not like Tripwire or anything like that because he's a ninja too. He's a ninja master. So I definitely think this figure fits that aesthetic for sure. And it's one of my favorite in the whole series so far. I don't know if it's gonna make the top 5. I'm gonna decide on my top 5 pretty soon. But man, this figure is a home run. All the accessories are ballin'. The paint accents, the helmet, the little remote control car, explosive carrier, his signature gray camo outfit. Like, man, this is a complete home run in every regard. I can't see any reuse here. I definitely love the figure for sure. I would say definitely get it if you're into the Classified series. Get it. All right, guys, gals, non-binary pals, thanks for tuning in again. Let me know if you want to see more videos like this where I go over the history of the characters too, and not just the toys. People seem to like that, so I'm going to keep doing it. So let me know in the comments below. All right, peace out.